Hello, everyone. Welcome to Feedback Friday. My name is Carrie Brummer. I'm creator and facilitator of the community Artist Strong, and it's a space where I help artists like you build your skill and develop your unique artist voice. This is Feedback Friday, which is a weekly episode over on the Facebook page where I offer artists insight into their websites, the artwork they're creating, works in progress, skill development, anything they ask for help with and feedback on, I try to give them some new perspective. Feedback is an integral part of building our skill as well as developing our unique voice. So I want to offer a safe space for people to ask for and receive that kind of feedback and start building that within our community here so that everyone has a system and format by which you can offer support and feedback to others. I'm going to make sure we're on here. I think everything is working. So with that being said, I've got lots of work today. I'm probably not going to get to all of it because so many of you have been so good about offering up your art for that feedback and support. So we'll see how much we get to, but don't worry, if I don't get to your work today, next Friday, I will try my best to get to it then too. And if you want to be part of a future Feedback Friday, be sure to email me your art or links to your website at carrie@artiststrong.com. So that being said, I'm going to switch my screen over so you can start looking at some art with me. Okay. So the first thing I want to look at is not this lovely work by Victoria, who I want to look at a before and after created by our very own Carmen over in the Facebook group. She shares very generously her work with us to have examples for learning and discovery. And I love that she also shares some before and afters for us to look at as well. So here is a work in progress that we talked about in a previous Feedback Friday. She wasn't sure about the white dots in the background. Sorry about that, guys. I have a 72-pound puppy who thinks any noise means there's danger and he has to tell me. So back to focus. We were talking about white dots in the background on the curtain here, and she wasn't sure about those, and she just kind of wanted some feedback on the composition as well. So she was very kind to show us her finished product as well. She decided to ditch the dots, and she made the colors a little more vibrant, and I have to say I love this work. I think it has a wonderful finished quality to it. The pose is quite fun and interesting. Carmen's been seeking to loosen her marks up and just loosen up her painting style a bit. That's something that's a goal of hers personally. And I do feel a sense of looseness here. We can feel some lovely brush strokes and movement. It's not super refined, but it does feel finished. I love the bird perched on the woman or girl's knees. And just her color choices in here are quite nice. It's a very vibrant image. And if you notice, she even added a hint of purple into some of the shadows on the face. And some of those same colors are incorporated into the bird. So there's a sense of harmony. Even in the yellow shirt, there's some green shadow. All of those decisions really help bring this piece together. So thank you, Carmen, for sharing a before and after with us. So now I have the lovely Cynthia who asked for some feedback. And she said she doesn't have a website, but she has an example of a work here. She used watercolor pencils and acrylic paint. She said paper's wrinkled because it was a sketching pad and not watercolor paper. It's a practice piece, and she'd love to work intuitively, but cannot break from being realistic. So what to say here? Well, first, looking at this work, I really love the way she's rendered the eyes. The irises and the color in them have a really nice reflective quality, and they have a real sense of three-dimension here, especially that the girl's left eye, it's our right side of the image. There's even some shadow in the white part of the eye, and that really helps kind of create this feeling of roundedness. Another thing I'd like to note here, this is called a 3/4 perspective, which is actually very difficult. It's one of the most difficult angles to achieve when you're working on a portrait, because you don't have the same symmetry as if you were looking straight on at a person's face. And there's a wonderful angle here, and all the features feel placed really well. And I like the colors that she's used for the skin tone as well. Since it's a practice piece and she didn't really give any sense of what she was looking for on this, she did mention the whole intuitive thing, that she wants to work more intuitively. So I want to first start by saying, do you know of a single artwork that is not intuitive? Seriously, think about that for a minute. Is there an artwork that does not use intuition in some part of the creative process? Every artwork that we make uses intuition. Every single artwork we make, it doesn't matter if it's realistic or abstract. Intuition is a natural part of the creative process. And so many people don't really think about that. And so I like that Cynthia is saying she wants to work intuitively, but I think too, we need to think about, does she want to work intuitively or does she want to be more abstract in her work? Because those are two different things. Abstract art is not just purely intuitive. There's all kinds of technical choices you need to make in an abstract work, just as you would in a work that's realistic like this one. So we need to separate this word intuition from notions about style, because intuition is a part of our process and it's more about figuring out how to harness that intuition. So, for example, if she knows that she wants to break from being realistic, but she enjoys portrait work, she could make some conscious choices in her technique that make her deviate from her normal pattern of creation. And it might help her intuitively or naturally come across a new style or way to present or create her portraits. So it could be something like using unnatural color palettes, something that's not very, not seen in the real world. So perhaps drastically different skin tones or hair colors, you name it. It could be to start with using a different medium and trying out a portrait and seeing how that changes the way that you layer paint and approach it. We just looked at work by Carmen, and her work has a level of realism to it, but it also actually has a level of abstraction. She wanted it loose. It's not about being super real. So you don't have super detailed shadows and angling on the face. There's some, so you have a sense of form, but it's a little more kind of Picasso-ish in some ways. And that's something that Cynthia could think about too, is maybe she limits or gives herself only 3 steps of shadow. So you've got kind of your darkest dark, your white highlights, and some kind of middle tone, and see what happens if you only use those 3. There's many different ways to play with portraiture or abstract artworks and figure out how to harness that intuitive interest. Because as we work on these things, we're going to have certain choices resonate more with us. And that's an intuitive hit telling us this is a path we need to follow. I make very realistic work with my portraits, and I would tell you they're very intuitively created. I literally talk to my artwork and ask the portrait, what do you want next? What color background do you want? And I just sit with the work and wait until I have some kind of inner answer. And I always get an answer from the artwork. But that is an intuitive part of my creative process. So that's just something I'd like us all to be thinking about. Thank you, Cynthia, for asking such an important question, because it's integral to our creative process and finding voice, is understanding how to use that intuition. So breaking from being realistic. If Cynthia is looking to deviate completely from portraiture and wants to work in a completely abstract or non-objective way, non-objective means that the work that you create has absolutely no resemblance to something in real life. Abstraction means that it might resemble something in real life, but it's not realistic. So Carmen's work is abstract, for example, because it references a human, but it's an abstraction of a human. We can look at it and see a symbol or meaning in it. Non-objective art is a kind of abstraction in some ways, but there's some arguments about that in art theory. Understand that non-objective work is work where it's all about color and shape and form. It's about formal decisions in art, which are using the elements and principles of art. So that's something we can all be thinking about. So, if we really want to break free from portraiture and just do something drastically different, take out a canvas and, play with a free activity that an artist offers online. Flora Bowley has all kinds of wonderful resources. She works in a more abstract leaning, non-objective kind of way. And you could look at one of her books, Intuitive Painting, for example, and just start playing with exercises. Another book that I recommend is Creative Block by Danielle Crissa of The Jealous Curator. She's got all kinds of exercises from different artists in there to help you break free and try something different. Obviously, you can get these books at the library if you don't want to invest in them on your own, but this is just some ideas that I think could help all of you think about when you're looking to break free from a pattern of art making that you have. Okay. Next, Tabitha has shared with me a link. So here's a piece in progress, and she'd like some feedback on her website, wishuponart.com. So let me get that website up on the screen here so that we can take a look. Okay. So Wish Upon Art. The first thing I noticed here is we have a header up here and we have an image of some kind of arch in a garden. And while it says art in Colorado art, so I'm thinking this must be some photography based work that this artist has. Then underneath we have a blank kind of background, white and clean, and it makes sure that then I'm focused on the text. The first thing I'd suggest is when people come to an artist website and they don't know the artist, they're going to want to immediately see at least, one or two artworks that may encompass the kind of art the artist makes. And if they like it, then they're going to keep looking. And if they don't know what your work is, or they don't know you, they're going to read Let's Keep in Touch and be like, well, I don't know you. Why am I looking here? So I almost wonder if maybe the new in or the best sellers should be at the very top of the page above welcome, or immediately under even, because then when you see it, actually, I like that idea. So replace this with kind of best sellers, because then it already sets a tone that people are here to buy and invest in your art. And it shows a showcase of some of the work people really like. So it gives people an immediate understanding of the kind of art that you're sharing. And then you could have, this information underneath and fix you could put it between new in and shot by category, something like that. So I like too that the page is not super long. We can't get lost in it. We come here, we see some links, and we also can immediately see some art. But I do wish that on this initial page, when you open it, that some of that work showed up immediately on the screen. Someone I identify as a mentor, her name is Marie Forleo. She suggests that you do not direct people away from your own website. So here we have a bunch of links to other places that showcase this person's art, but that takes them away from looking around on your website and possibly buying your artwork. So I have it on my website where people can share images of my art if they like it, because that'll help bring people to my website. But I don't just share the links to say, follow me on Twitter or Facebook on my artist website. And so that's something that we all want to think about is, why are we sharing these links and how do they help us with our goals for our website? If your goal is to sell your work, then you want to keep them on the page to learn more about your art so that they are invested and interested to buy one of your works. So that's something to think about. Something I do not do, but I've heard some people say, is when they see the dollar amount and it doesn't say if it's US dollar or not. Sometimes people find that confusing. I'm American, but I live in Canada. And so I definitely hear that question a lot. And if you know that you have an international audience, putting the amount, the denomination can be helpful. So let's see what else we can look at. Let's click on shop and see what else we see. The menu is all of the that they stand out a bit more for us to see. They get lost a little bit in the photograph, and it would be nice to have that stand out more to help us go through the shop a bit more. So here we can scroll through and see a shop. And so there's some overarching themes already in the images we see. This is the only one that kind of stands out to me as something different. Most of the work here is showing as influenced by nature or having some kind of natural animal connection. So that's something to think about is, do we want to organize our shop in a certain way? Right now, it looks like the titles are alphabetized, but is there a way to present the work and group it so that it helps create more interest? So even something simple as, you see how this elk is looking to the left? Well, it helps bring your eye here. We have Buddy here, and he's kind of behind we're promoting or sharing, because that's part of how to build trust and help people feel invested in the work to want it themselves. So here, there's just imagery and prices. So I would spend some time creating some descriptions that really help someone feel like they're in the image, or it creates somehow some kind of personal connection or meaning for them so that they want to invest in this artwork. So it could be about kind of those moments in the fall of having hot apple cider or carving pumpkins or going for a hike. Think about the person who might want this image and share that kind of little short story as a description to help people go, you know what, that does remind me of these moments, and I want this in my home as a reminder of those things. So that's something we need to be thinking about. I know a lot of artists avoid the writing part of promoting their art, but the more we can share of ourselves, the more people are going to connect with you. And it's about personal connection and building community. And when people trust you and want to be part of your creative process, that's when they're going to want to invest in your art. So that's the other part here is we have a website name that's Wish Upon Art, and we have a welcome, and we have a homepage and a shop, but and a contact us, but it's treated like a store that's very separate from someone as an individual. And that's fine, but it's harder to build trust that way. A lot of people want to know what the artist looks like. They want to hear from the artist their stories of creation. And that's one very common model you see online today, is artists sharing its kind of personality and sharing who you are. And that connection that you develop then creates the desire for investment. Another way to do it is to have a storefront and a brand that's completely separate from you as an individual. But then you need to offer resources and set a tone in some way that helps people trust the store as well. So testimonial page, if people have been buying the work, having some testimonials from people can be very valuable, and a way to have social proof that people are investing and like the product that they receive. I also think a series of blog posts that maybe educate on the natural elements that you're talking about could be another great way to help bring in the correct audience who would want to invest in your work, and also offer them valuable free content that then keeps them on your website and wanting to shop on your page. So I hope that gives you some ideas. Tabitha, you said it's a ceramic website, but I only see photographs. So I don't see any ceramic work or a way to find that. So in a future episode, if you do have some ceramic work you'd like feedback on, let me know. But that's something too, how do we present our work? How do we make it clear the different media that we share and explore and that we have available for sale or for show? That's all stuff that we want to make clear on our website. How are we doing for time? Okay, I'm about halfway through, and I've got 3 more. So I think I'm going to do okay today. I have more of you, though, to work with, too. So Nikki said that she just got her shopping cart working, and she'd love any feedback on the site in general. So let's check out Nikki's website. So first thing I notice here is I love her header, and I even love this little footer, how the color matches some of the artwork in the header. She has a great little pop-up here that gives you an image of some of her work, and she's got some nice language. It feels like her speaking to us individually. that's something that a lot of us don't realize, is we lose that sense of personality in our writing, and we want to talk to someone as if we know them well and trust, again, building trust. So I really like that. So she's got a nice little sign up here, and it stands out and it's easy to close out, but you can also see a lot of her work here and have a sense of it. She has a special benefit for people who sign up right now to her email list. So she gives 10% off her already reduced holiday prices. So you can get her first ever coupon code. That's a great incentive to get people to sign up to your website. That's a whole workshop that could happen too, is deciding how you're going to encourage people to sign up. Oh no, are you guys even on? Saying that I'm having a streaming issue. I want to double check. Oh, it looks like we're doing okay. I hope. Well, if there is an issue, don't worry. I'm going to put a replay up on YouTube so that you have access to this, but I'm going to share my screen again. I have no idea what you guys saw or didn't see now, which is a huge bummer. To your website, that's a whole workshop that could happen too, is deciding. It looks like my screen share wasn't on for half of this, which is a huge bummer. We'll see. We'll see. I might have to redo some of these again. I'm sorry, guys. I did not even know that my screen share wasn't up. Okay. So back to Nikki's lovely website. She has some art here that talks about healing and nourishing the soul. They're infused with intention of love and light. So she's already using language that's going to bring people to this website and help them see. I want to make sure everything's working here. Help them know. She set a tone by the color and her marks and having a piece of her artwork as the header. And she's already given you some language to help you understand how she talks about her art. She's like, are you looking, does your space need something? I think this is really good too, because you're talking about art hangs in spaces. People want to. Someone said, the screen was up for most of it, just about 45 seconds of it on the last one. Okay, phew. Thank you. I'm sorry about that. I'm glad I got that fixed real quick. Yeah, so she's already approaching this as a place to sell her work, and she's trying to solve a problem for the people who are here. So are you looking for original art that resonates with your personal beliefs? Do you want art that kind of gives you personal message and connection? Does your space need something? So she's got two areas where she's using specific language, where she's helping you understand the kind of work she has, and she has links. So what's great is it tells you, it gives you spaces and calls to action to look more on her website. And that's something we really want, is we want people to be able to dig through and look on the website and learn more. She's got a very clean menu section that's easy to see. She's got a testimonial page. She's got paintings listed by style or size so that you can look at them. She's got a work with me page. So everything's kind of really easy to see what she's offering and where you can go. And then how nice too, she's got a sample of some of her work here, so you can see what works she has and the quality of them. This tree is so gorgeous. I love it. The route to happiness. And she's also got, look at this, on her homepage, she's got a bunch of people who are offering testimonials. So she's setting a tone from the beginning that her work is valuable, that people already like it. And then she has a call to action at the end, again, to sign up to her email list, which is one of the most important things you can have. People are much more likely to invest in your art if they hear from you regularly via email versus seeing posts online. And again, she has a quick little about me, and she's got some products here that are just kind of showing up so that you can take a glance and see. And again, she has a code at the bottom for a discount. So she's got a call to action to have you sign up to her website in several places, which looks really, really nice. Yeah, I really love the homepage, Nikki. I think it's beautiful. And I love this too, what happy collectors say and how the color matches with the kind of little quote image. This is really, really nice. It looks like you're using Divi, I think, too. I use Divi for my Artist Strong website. I really like this layout. It's clean and open, and the text has space so that you have time to look at it. And how nice you can look at these works. So let's just click on one. Looks like you can kind of zoom in on them too, right here on the home page. And how nice, because you can see her textural marks and how they interact with the canvas. These are high quality images of her art as well. Let's click on About. And I've only got a few minutes left, so I might not get to Victoria's, which I think I did already, actually. So I remember looking at this in a previous episode. So Victoria, if I didn't, let me know. But let's get back to Nikki here. So again, I really like this. She's got a nice header, bright colors, pieces of her studio, all this kind of association. She talks about why she's doing things. Something I have read in terms of copy is, even though this is our About page, if we start with the word I, it makes readers feel like it's all about us, even though our work is really created to bring joy and things to other people, right? And here she's talking about kind of pain and renewal and new energy for everyone. So it might be interesting to reword this section in a way that somehow makes it a little bit more about the people showing up on her website. And I am not an expert at this part of it. I just know that that's feedback I've personally received several times. So I try to think about how the story can really connect with people. How can I share my story that gives them a connection to me, but also makes it about everyone? Again, I love the variety of the work and how there's still a connection, even if work becomes more abstracted. Beautiful paintings. And how nice here. Here she is talking about this, right? Do you have a sacred practice or ritual? Are you a creature of habit? So those are really good choices in terms of language, because it's about, again, the person participating in this conversation. And we see her working and images of her. So this is so nice because it really gives us a sense of her work and what she looks like. It's a way to connect with her. And she also lists different shows she's been part of, as well as her education. And all of this, again, sets a tone for people to invest in her work. Back again, lots of really nice testimonials for her art. So, and again, a bottom of a call to action. So yeah, I think this is wonderful. Nikki, thank you so much for sharing your website with us. I think this is a great example to artists of how you can have a unique website. Yeah, I think it's a nice looking site too. It's clean. It has a very professional quality. Her shop is new, and that's something she had shared. So she gives us details. All the works are original. Actual colors may not be 100% represented here. Yeah, thank you for visiting my shop. Here, I would say delete this. It's actually something you should be really proud of, that you built your website, but it also sets this tone that people are looking for problems then. We don't want to have any kind of that energy on our website. So I would say something like, if you want to talk about other art, I think that's more aligned with the branding and language that she's been using on her homepage. I like that there's these little sale options, and you can see what the price has changed to, and how you can click on the work. It might be nice to have the size or dimensions of the artwork. That's not clear. And I don't know about